I'm here in studio at KXCI, and they'll be performing at Club Congress next week. We'll talk about that show and really whatever we want to chat about. But first, here, live in Studio 2A, Nocturnal Theory.
Thank you for having us.
Time's gone, I can keep my mind intact. Haven't felt this way in so long. Maybe it's all wounds I neglect. Still I loved it in the end. Still heaven and hell break through my breath. Still alone inside my skin. And when it's gone I'm reminded there's better love, better love, better love. I know there's better love, better love, better love.
Thank you. That was called Old Wounds. So this is actually a really old one. This one's called Houses, for all the day one people out there.
for trees, or the sun on my skin, or the warmth of your skin. I exchange my pessimistic views to be someone like you. So tell me when you come home. I don't wanna know where you've been running from, where you've been running. And maybe I'm just like my father, or the God in my head that's just looking for shelter. Maybe I'm just like the water, drying out in the sun. Would you make it through summer? Do, 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 so tell me when you come home. I don't wanna know where you've been running from, where you've been running. So tell me all your fears, and I'll tell you mine. I've been alone for quite some time. I've been alone for quite some time. There's a room in my house. I kept the love you gave me. Well, I'm afraid to go in there now. To all the ones who left me. Whoa. Oh, ah. Sweet, thank you.
You're tuned in to 91.3. This is KXCI. My name's Milner, and I am live in Studio 2A with Nocturnal Theory.
Thanks for having us, man.
Yeah, thanks. For
Appreciate it.
So, why don't we go around the room and... Oh. Well, it turns out my mic's off. I'm good? All right. Well, I'm good.
I hear you.
Yeah, I hear me too, but I hear voices a lot. So, in any event, thanks for coming down, guys. Why don't we start off with introductions? We'll go around the room and let us know who you are, what you're playing tonight.
I'll start. I'm Dominic Zuna. I play piano and guitar.
I am Dominic Richard, so there's two Doms. Yeah, I play acoustic and I sing.
I'm Clay Judash, and I play rhythm guitar, and I work the Akai beat machine.
I'm Danny Fimbers, and I play bass for Nocturnal Theory.
Does this one work?
Hey, my name is Michael Weiss. I'm playing tenor sax tonight.
Excellent. All right, well, thanks again for coming down.
Absolutely.
And I want to kind of begin at the beginning. You mentioned during that last one, or before that last one, you said that was one of the first tunes for folks who have been around from the beginning.
Yeah.
So let's go back to the beginning.
Okay.
When was the beginning?
The beginning for me personally, I was probably 12, and I actually started jamming with this kid in like the worst bands. I think we did a talent show in like elementary school.
Yeah, we were a cross between Blink 182 and like Jimi Hendrix. That's what we wanted.
I loved Jimi Hendrix, so that's what got me into guitar.
Yeah.
And then we actually continued to play in a few other bands here in town, like just wherever I could play lead guitar. That's where I sort of started doing that. And then all those bands sort of fell apart, and then I was like, I don't know why I'm not really writing my own music. I'm not just going to stop. So that's what I did. And now we're kind of here. Danny's one of my really close friends, so I've played in bands with him. Clay, I've actually played in bands with him as well. So in his so we're actually really close. And then Mike down there is actually the newest addition right now. So he's it's been like 2 weeks now. Something like that.
Wow.
Yes.
You'd never know it by listening. It's perfectly integrated. Sounds great.
Thank you.
So when did you start playing as Nocturnal Theory? When did this particular project emerge?
So this project, all of us, the four of us, it's been about a year that we've been writing as a unit, but I would say that these songs, that's why I said like my day one, people will know this song. That one was written as a solo song. That was probably 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Is that 4 years?
Yeah, about 4 years at the apartment. Yeah.
So I would say this project has been in the works for 4 years, personally.
So when you say that one started off as a solo song, were you performing that and other songs like this out solo, or is it a recording project at that stage? What was the life of these songs at that point in time?
That's a good question. These songs were actually, I was paying people for studio time, so I would put out a song once a year maybe, and it was really difficult to sort of get that traction going. Yeah. And so I took that money that I was spending on that like one release a year, and I invested in my own home studio. So I like slowly got the pieces together, and so as you know, we have an album coming out on the 29th. Yeah. It's called Sunset Collapse, so I'm really stoked about that because I would say personally it's been like all of that is leading up to finally being able to like, okay, I'm proud of this. So, yeah.
So you mentioned the album's coming out on the 29th. You'll also be playing at Congress in support of that. So
yes.
Tell us about that gig.
Well, it's been a while. I've wanted to play at Congress for a while, but Clay actually helped get our foot in the door. So, we kind of got hooked up with that last minute. We didn't even have everything finished at that point. And then a few other bands tagged along or are going to tag along. So we have Vianney. He's a solo artist, I believe, kind of similar to what I do. And then Moontracks, it's an indie pop band. Yeah. So, we have, it's going to be a really sick show. I'm really stoked.
And which night is that?
That's on a Wednesday night, so I know it sucks to come out but on a Wednesday, but you gotta.
It's worth it.
It's worth it.
And is that so that's a week from Wednesday then?
Yes. Yeah. A week from Wednesday. I think we're ready. Right, dudes? Right, dudes?
So we'll talk about more of the recording process in a little bit, but before we get back to the music, I'm always curious for bands that start off as more of a solo project and then kind of transform into a more collaborative process. What's that transition been like for you, Dominic, as you've kind of had to refocus from just being able to make the songs kind of for yourself as your own critic, your only collaborator, to then integrating all these different voices, perspectives, musical backgrounds. Tell me a little bit about that dynamic as a group as you've been writing these songs and fleshing them out.
That is a really good question. I love these guys, but it's been really frustrating, to be honest. Like, just as personally having to okay, this is what I have in mind, and then trying to communicate that. Like, I don't personally know a lot of music theory, so I'm just kind of like, it's like I pluck it, and then I'm like, no, just do this, and you know what I mean? So
Sure.
I can't communicate that very well. So it's been pretty difficult, but I don't know if anybody else wants to chime in and say what that's been like.
I feel like I feel like it's as smooth as it could be for just rolling into a full band. I mean, obviously he mentioned we played music together.
Sure.
He's played music with all these guys. So, and as far as between him and I, we've been playing together so long, and we do a lot of creative work as far as the visuals and photos and stuff. So, I feel like I've been along doing all the promos and stuff.
That's true.
So
That's
I feel like
true.
the vision, it's kind of easy for me to kind of see where he's going.
Sure.
So I feel like it's helps that there's somewhat of a creative background.
And Mike's just freaking insane. Like, he picked everything up in 2 weeks, so. Thanks, man.
Did these songs have sax on recorded versions, or is that a new edition? Okay.
So, I knew I needed to find somebody to play the parts, but, Mike stepped in, and he's been killing it, so.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So we're going to get back to the music, and then we'll talk more about the album in a little bit.
Okay.
But what do you have queued up for us next?
So this is a song called All Things Go. We actually just put it out on YouTube. It's going to be on their record, and it's one of my favorites, so.
Great.
Let me just set my guitar down, though.
Yeah. And don't forget, if you happen to be in a place where you have access to screen with a connection to the internet, and you probably do it every second of your life, you can head to KXCI's Facebook page or YouTube channel and watch streaming video of this performance right now.
Trains that never stop. I'm not really running late, but all things go away. Yeah, all things. Let's just get away. No matter the world we live, oh, it wasn't meant for me. Let's just catch some sleep. Oh, the millions of people I'll never meet. How do we find our peace? treetops, watching the sky drip. On you. I'm a fool when it comes to set our bodies on fire. Set our bodies on fire. This is love. This is love. This is. Thank you.
You're listening to Nocturnal Theory here, live in Studio 2A on Locals Only. And new album comes out next week. Release show is going to be at Congress 1 week from Wednesday night.
That's right.
So I want to talk a little bit about the making of the album. You talked about the transition from going in and working, kind of on the clock, so to speak, in someone else's studio, trying to, crush one song and then save up money for the next one, and then in anticipation of this album, you built your own studio, collected the gear that you needed to be able to do this yourself. So, are all of these tracks recorded in that studio that you built, or were you still, at least for part of it, going out to other folks' studios?
No, everything was actually done in-house, so
Cool.
Yeah, that's been such a long process, but I'm actually really happy with the product, so I really like it, yeah.
So did you have any background in the production side before you started building out the home studio?
No. None. Yeah, that was a tough transition, but it's actually changed my ear quite a bit, so
Oh, sure.
So actually having to produce everything myself now, I'm unfortunately drawn to, like, I used to hate programmed drums,
Yeah.
like beats and stuff,
Yeah.
and that's totally manipulated my ear into, like, thinking that way, like the precision of a beat, and just, I love producing now, so I've definitely been influenced by a lot of different artists that, just because of their production.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell me about what were some of the resources that you relied on when you were making that transition and trying to just figure out, how to set everything up, how to start getting the sounds that you were hearing in your head, translate onto the recordings.
A lot of it was not that I couldn't hear, like, that. As soon as I, like, had the right plugins, I knew what to do. It was very intuitive for me to, like, get the right sound the way that I wanted, and so it was more just building up that stockpile of equipment to be able to, sort of produce those sounds. And
Sure.
so that was more of a money factor, to be honest. Yeah. I mean, I recorded in, like, I tried different rooms. I tried recording in the bathroom, but if you have a bad mic, or if you have if you're recording on a laptop that breaks down every time you do 3 tracks or something,
Right.
then what are you going to do? So
You could have the best bathroom in the world, and you're still going to run into those problems.
and trust me, my bathroom.
So, you mentioned during our last break that you started off for a lot of the first bands that you were in, you were playing lead guitar.
Right, yeah.
Then we have a track like that where you're not playing guitar, you just got the beats, you're singing. When you first transitioned into having songs like that in your arsenal and giving up what I think for some songwriters the guitar almost feels like a crutch or a safety blanket to be able to hide behind. Was there a sense of kind of vulnerability that came the first time that you were performing without a guitar in front of your body?
Yeah, the first time I set the guitar down was with these guys when first time we played Set Our Bodies on Fire. And that was like, I mean, our first show was, I don't know how this happened, but we got hooked up with like an opening spot at the Rialto. So that was daunting enough. And then, I mean, we'll play the song later, but there's another song where I set the guitar down, and it was hard to get used to, for sure. I'm still not used to it. I'm like fidgeting with my hands and stuff.
Right.
Like, what do I do? But yeah.
So, what's the best way for folks to keep track of what's going on with the band online?
I mean, we're trying to establish that presence. Like I said, we're pretty new, so Facebook probably. Facebook's the easiest way to see what we're up to, and then we're also on Instagram. Starting Twitter. We have like one tweet.
Hey, you gotta start somewhere.
But smash that follow button. I can't do all of it right now. I'm trying to focus on the music and stuff, and we'll get there. But Facebook's the way to go right now.
And when the album comes out, what would be the best way for people to listen to it?
I made a decision to not do physical copies. So we're going to be strictly streaming. So Apple Music, Spotify, iTunes, whatever you use, it'll be up. So that'll be the best way.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to get back into the music here with Nocturnal Theory. Thanks for listening to Locals Only. Don't forget that you can watch this live if you head over to the KXCI YouTube channel or Facebook page. Both will have live streaming video.
I was hoping that the ground will leave me when the sun goes down over neon ceilings. Narrow streets, so I hear you breathing across that great canal. I'm so high I could never calm down. Are freezing. Looking up but the moment's fleeting. You saying to me all the words in my head. You sang to me. Keep singing, babe. Keep singing, babe.
Thank you. That one's called Amsterdam.
Set our bodies on fire, set our bodies on fire. This is love, this is love, this is set our bodies on fire. You set my body on fire, you set my body on. Exhale, do you feel alive? Yeah, I felt like I was on my own for too long, but I just close my eyes, 'cause every night I live and die. You set my body on fire, you set my body on. This is love, this is. Set our bodies on fire, set our bodies on fire. This is love, this is love, this is. Set our bodies on fire. Oh, you set my body on fire. Our bodies on. Oh no. This is all I. This is love. This is all I. Set our bodies on fire. Set our bodies on fire. This is love. This is love. This is. Set our bodies on fire. Set our bodies on fire, set our bodies on fire. Don't you know my soul is tired, all alone. Don't you know you were never mine.
This is Locals Only. We're live in Studio 2A with Nocturnal Theory. New album, Sunset Collapse, comes out July 29th. Album release show is going to be at Club Congress 1 week from Wednesday. Gentlemen, thanks again for coming down tonight.
Thank you for having us. You're the man, dude.
It has been a pleasure to have you. And, one thing that I was curious about as I was checking out your social media stuff before tonight's set is that and in fact you mentioned some of the visuals earlier during the set, but it seems like you've made a concerted effort to kind of cultivate a visual aesthetic to accompany the music as well, and I'm curious to hear a little bit about that process and where some of the inspiration comes from for the visual element of the project.
So that you're right. It's been a process too to cultivate that sort of aesthetic, I guess. It started out with just strictly illustrations, which I actually did all the illustrations for that. But then that's where the other Dom came in, and he's the photo guy. He's just does amazing photography, so he's done a lot of the visual work, and maybe you could touch on that.
Yeah, so we actually, when we stopped playing music together, it was about 4 years ago when he started doing his solo stuff. I should probably speak up here. When he started doing his solo stuff, I kind of went off on another tangent and kind of found photography, and I kind of just jumped into that. And then since then, we've been working, kind of with each other whenever he wants, promos for something. It was kind of practice for me, and it was always fun to work together. So we would work on like whatever visuals he wanted, whether that was just a portrait or we'd always have these like crazy ideas that we would start to kind of try to put together, and sometimes it wouldn't work, sometimes it would, and then I ended up getting into filmography as well. So it's been really cool because again, like we have that long history with having being creatives along each other. So being able to communicate what he's seeing for his music has just kind of collided to where we're all wrapped in, and so now I get to put in my own vision as well with like video and the photos, and so we kind of get to work together, do that a lot. So it's really cool.
Very cool.
Yeah,
man.
And you mentioned video, so is part of that involved making music videos, or is that something that's on the horizon?
On the horizon for sure. Yeah.
We put out a short teaser for the album, and then we're going to be dropping another one in the next few days, maybe week tops, to kind of tease the album. And then there's some elements in there kind of teasing what's going to be in our upcoming, the first video that we want to put out. So so that's kind of cool. We kind of planted a few things in there. So
excellent.
It's a lot of fun.
And we mentioned earlier that from a social media perspective, probably the best options right now are Facebook and Instagram. There's a new and emerging Twitter profile.
I wouldn't recommend checking that out because it'll be a little sad.
We don't know. I had a Twitter once when I was like 15, and then after that it was I deleted it, and then I don't know who to follow.
Twitter's kind of its own beast.
To be honest, that's part of the reason I've been avoiding it. Like we could post. It's just as easy to post the things that we're posting on Facebook and Instagram to Twitter. Like obviously we could just repost it, but I don't want to like put my head in that world yet. You know what I mean? I've had my hands clean for so long.
Yeah, basically our Twitter page is like the family refrigerator.
Yeah.
Like we just put things up like every once in a while. It's like, well, that's Wally. Like nobody's gonna see it. Maybe my sister. That's about it.
I think that's our one follower.
Sister, yeah, for real. Yeah, and we're following like 2 people, so the ratio's okay. The ratio's not bad, to be honest. Yeah.
The ratio's good.
Yeah, you got to get some of those bot followers. That's the key.
Yeah, we just got to start hashtagging
everything.
Yeah, they're really the best ones.
Is that the way to do it?
Very active engagement.
They make it fun.
So, 1 week from tonight is going to be the release show at Congress. The album's going to be available on streaming services starting July 29th. Last thing that I want to ask about before we get into your last song, so much effort goes into making an album. There's so much time that goes into the recording, the mixing, mastering, getting the visual aesthetic. I mean, all of that work, and then it just kind of comes into the universe. And I think for some artists, for some bands, sometimes they can feel like almost like anticlimactic once it's actually in the world because you've put all this work in, then it's just there. So have you given any thought to what comes next after the album's out? How are you going to keep the momentum going for these songs or for the next batch?
I think I'm gonna try and branch out a little bit after this musically. Like working with Mike has been amazing, and so I would like to maybe collaborate with another artist. I think it'd be a good way to like refresh my ear or something. So I don't know, something like that. Do like a split single or something, and then see where maybe that'll inspire something else. But I'm not honestly too worried about what comes next because I'm a little bit like tired of writing right now. You know what I mean? So right after this, I just want to play the songs. Like I want to experience what it feels like to do it live, and so we'll see where that takes us, and maybe we'll get some shows in the surrounding area. So that's
Cool.
the plan right now.
Excellent.
Yep.
So your first chance to catch Nocturnal Theory live and hear these songs to celebrate the release of the album is going to be 1 week from Wednesday at Club Congress. And gentlemen, thanks again. It's been really fun having you.
Thank you.
Thank
we
you.
appreciate it.
Thanks.
It's been great.
So we've got one more song queued up.
Yeah, this one's actually a cover. It's a Bon Iver cover called Flume.
Cool.
I am my mother's only one. It's enough. I wear my garment so it shows. Now you know. With us all, I'm moving water shore to shore. Nothing's more. Sky is on the sheet, the moon
Nocturnal Theory's new album is going to be coming out on July 29th. Album release show at Club Congress 1 week from Wednesday. And if you missed any of this performance, you can either head over to YouTube and watch the video. You can head to the KXCI website, kxci.org, and in the next couple of days we'll have a link to stream this again as well. Any closing thoughts before we wrap things up, guys? Well, you got a live mic in front of you. Anything you need to share with the world?
Follow that Twitter. No, thank you guys so much for having us. We really appreciate it. We gotta do this again, and come out to the show on July 31st.
All right.
Thank you guys.
So thanks again. Locals Only will be back next week. Sophie will be hosting, and we will have, I think M. Crane will be our guest. So in any event, have a wonderful week, everybody, and we will see you back here on Locals Only. Scratching Post.